Hey everyone, welcome to a special edition of the Two Broke Gamers podcast. I'm Ricky.
I'm Steve.
Hey, so what we're gonna do right now is a year in review. Not so much in depth, but at least kind of skating over everything that happened, at least majorly that happened. And
Yeah, all the
everything that
major stuff that happened this year.
Yeah, nothing like too bad, nothing too I don't know. It's just something we wanted to do. Because, I mean, it's the end of the year. Everybody does this stuff. And we figured, why not? And why not take our view on it? Especially, how we're going to break it down, by, PC. Not first, but, consoles and PC, basically.
Yeah, we're going to break it down for you.
Yeah. So, especially, everything that's happened throughout the year. I mean, times were different from this year, at the beginning of the year to the end. And then who knows what the future will bring next year. Next year looks to be an interesting a year in gaming.
Indeed.
But this year was didn't seem to be interesting, but it ended up pretty damn interesting.
Yeah.
So let's start off, of course, because we're fans of Nintendo, so we're going to go right into the Nintendo discussion, because Nintendo was not doing anything this beginning of the year. Like, they literally, in February, only had one game come out.
And it was just like, Nintendo had no title. It was like, there was nothing worth playing. Like, that's why the Wii U had horrible sales before this year.
Well, it was crazy because it was selling great last year in December 2013. It was like, it had pretty decent sales.
Well, because it was still, I mean, it was relatively, no, it wasn't really that new, is it?
No, it was about, last year it was about a year old, yeah. And I mean, it had pretty decent sales, but then once it hit January again, it was like, ooh.
Well, again, because the Wii U early in the year had no titles.
None.
It was like you have a Wii U for what reason? There's no games for it.
Yeah. Even though it's crazy because if you look at Sony and Microsoft, they didn't really have a lot of games either. A lot of them are mostly ports, and people bought those up like it was like the greatest things ever.
Yeah.
So, but still sticking with that. I mean, I still remember the first game of the year that Nintendo came out. Because, I mean, there was other games, too. Like, they had a Virtual Console, which even that was lacking, and it still kind of is. I mean, there's still a great library of Virtual Console games on the Wii. But, I mean, what happened to the Virtual Console coming to the Wii U? I mean, just move them over.
Yeah.
I mean, there's games that I should be playing on the Wii U and not having to go through my Wii emulator on my Wii U to play the game. And I don't get that at all.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
But I still remember the first game they had was Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
Tropical Freeze.
Which started off their year. And then that was it for a while.
Yeah, that was it for a while, for quite a while.
until Mario Kart came out.
Yeah, Mario Kart.
And then after that, it was just a whole bunch of other games that just started flowing through and streaming through. But now, the crazy thing about Nintendo this year was just the fact that I didn't really the negativity towards them as if they were a failing company was just was unsung because they weren't failing at all. They still had lots of money in reserve, and that's always been proven. In fact, too, that the other two companies, I mean, they're losing more money than Nintendo ever did. So, I mean, for a point where the PlayStation 4 is basically holding Sony together at some point. Like, not even basically. I mean, there's probably other factors, too. I mean, the movies, I think, are still doing pretty well. The hack lately might have, hurt them a lot. But, they had to sell both their headquarters. I'm not talking about Sony Entertainment, the division that makes all the games. I'm talking about the whole Sony itself.
Yeah. And when it comes down to the video game perspective of it, Nintendo was in last place.
It is. It still is.
It still is. But I mean, it was way further behind in last place.
Well, it was in last place to begin, and then it got in second for a very long time. It was outselling the Xbox One by a lot because nobody wanted the Xbox One. And now it turned it around and it got into second, but now it's back in third.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about that.
Again, going back to the beginning of the year, Nintendo was really, really far behind.
Yes. And we always said it throughout the year, whether it was a podcast or in other places, we said that, the games that were going to make or break Nintendo this year were going to be Mario Kart and Smash Bros. And that was basically everybody else's conclusion as well. And it seemed to be true to some extent. Mario Kart 8 has already sold past 3 million, possibly 4 at this point, I don't know. And it helped sell the Wii U a lot. And then everybody was super hyped for Smash. And then you would think it was everybody. But Smash to this point right now hasn't even sold 1 million yet.
Yeah, Smash it's definitely not living up to the hype that everyone had around it. Now, the 3DS version did fine.
Oh,
3DS version did great, but the Wii U version I thought they was going to move some consoles, but it apparently is not the case.
You know what it is, too? I just felt like if they bundled the damn game, if they bundled the game with the console, it probably would have sold a lot more.
Yeah, but they decided that was not going to be the case.
I mean, they are now, but in Europe.
Yeah, but not in America.
But and that doesn't make any sense. Even though, yes, on Black Friday they did bundle it with for like this year with like 4 other games, and still people didn't even buy that. I mean, come on, like Nintendo came in fourth in selling for Black Friday with a very low percentage. Meanwhile, Xbox One was outselling them like on Black Friday more.
The Xbox 360 outsold the Wii U,
Yes.
an outdated console.
And that's on Black Friday. And that's
on
sad.
Black Friday.
So, I mean, and that's the thing. It's not like that. I don't know. Like Nintendo ended up doing much better than they did last year, especially the first year that the Wii U came out, where everybody was like they should cancel the Wii U and Nintendo should start doing third party, which is an even bigger mistake. And Nintendo did that. Or they should just forget the Wii U and make a new console immediately. They should move on to mobile phones and all this other stuff. And it's just and we'll also get into the handheld gaming too of Nintendo, because I mean it's helping and hurting at the same time too. It's strange because Nintendo felt like it should have done a lot better, and it kind of struggled to hit the finish line at the end of the year. Even though it made a profit, it made some money. The Amiibos I think helped a lot more too.
The Amiibos helped out a lot,
But
I also think that the handheld, the 3DS, helped out quite a bit too.
Yeah, stick with the Amiibos for a little bit, even though it's been shown that Amiibos and Smash Bros are selling 1-in-1 basically. Like every person's getting a Wii U, Smash Bros Wii U's getting an Amiibo. But I mean, I don't know which Amiibos they're getting, because a lot of the ones that are popular are sold out.
Yeah, it's kind of the ones that people want to get their hands on,
and then
they can't really get their hands on because they only made a few. They made a very limited supply of them.
And plus, too, I feel like Nintendo's losing out on a lot of money in the Amiibos because they're selling secondhand for a crazy amount of money.
Yeah.
Like, the Marth is ridiculous right now. Captain Falcon, which just came out, is already like $60.
Yeah.
And I mean, and Luigi's already like 40, 50, and he just came out too. And it's like, what the, and that's the thing. People who are buying Amiibos, I feel like don't even own Smash Bros.
Maybe.
Because, think about it. How are they just buying and just go, I'm going to sell it? I mean, that's really what a lot of people are doing.
Yeah, I guess. That, people are buying them just to sell them secondhand.
Yeah, and I mean, especially for a profit. Jeez. Now, Nintendo also had to deal with the issue of delayed games, canceled games, no real third-party support, which, I mean, if a lot of games wouldn't really need third-party support. I mean, the other two consoles do, because, they really don't have a lot of exclusives, and if they do, they came out already, and they're kind of big. But the other big games just sell on them, like GTA sold really well on the other two consoles. And their own games like Last of Us and Halo have sold pretty well on their own consoles, and Destiny sold well on both consoles. I mean, look at PCs. PCs, I mean, they're reliant. There's no real first-party PC game.
Well, actually, there kind of are.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would consider League of Legends a PC exclusive because it's not on other consoles.
That's true. But it's not like it's first party. It's not like the baker of the
right.
PC.
It's not like it's not like Microsoft or making games specifically for the PC. But there are games that are on PC only.
Yeah.
Warcraft is on PC only. League of Legends on PC only.
But it's only exclusive, not like first party. You know what I mean? It's not like
they're technically PC exclusive.
Yeah. That's what I mean. But the exclusives are different from that. The exclusives on Microsoft and Sony consoles are a lot different too, because they have their own thing and they're selling pretty well too, which is good for them, but all the other games is kind of like, eh. But for the Wii U, I mean, there was companies that just didn't even bother.
Well, yeah, what was it? I think it was Ubisoft who ended up just saying we're not really coming out with things for the Wii U.
I mean, not only that, I still remember, and I don't know if they ever came out and said which game it was, but Ubisoft straight up said, we have a game that we made for the Wii U. It's done, but we're not going to release it until they sell more consoles.
But I know that they canceled a lot of M-rated games that were supposed to be coming towards the Wii U.
And then other games, too, that the Wii U just couldn't handle, like the newer Assassin's Creed and such.
Yeah.
And even, the Call of Duty games, they're not even coming on the Wii U for the first time.
Yeah.
Which is oh, okay. They make Call of Duty for everything. They didn't even care about, the non-sales on the Nintendo because they just made the money elsewhere anyway.
I think the Wii U's problem is a hardware limitation.
Yeah. It is.
It is, Bayonetta 2 came out for the Wii U. Exclusive to the Wii U,
it got high praise from a lot of critics and fans, and people were brand new fans because of that too.
But it was only able to be played in 60 frames per second.
Yeah, which is not bad. I mean, that's the max for most consoles. You mean 30 frames or 60 frames? Because 60 frames a second is actually the top. That's max. That's good.
60. I'm used to PC games, which
Oh,
can
well,
play in
yeah.
120.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
well, you know what? Too, the other two consoles max out at like 60 frames per second too.
I thought they go. I thought they go higher.
Nope,
Oh.
not the other two.
And this whole conversation is irrelevant.
Yes, but no, but yeah, it's 60 frames.
I don't know, but anyway, going back to Bayonetta 2,
yes.
that's a game that should have came out on multi-platform. That came out exclusive to the Wii U and did not sell.
Well,
It did not sell well.
It sold decent. It wasn't like the worst.
But imagine if it came out multi-platform.
Yeah, it would have sold a lot.
Oh,
better.
Bayonetta 2 came out for the PS4 and the Xbox.
Oh, I would have sold a lot better.
It would have sold a lot better, but they
Mhm.
decided to take a Wii U exclusive. But that for good reason though, because Nintendo was the only one who was going to be funding it.
Yeah.
Because they were having funding problems, and they asked the they asked Sony.
A bunch of companies.
They asked a lot of companies, and everyone decided no, even though the first Bayonetta did great.
Yeah.
The first Bayonetta did great, and no one wanted to fund the second game for whatever reason, except Nintendo. So they said, you know what, make it Wii U exclusive, and it didn't really sell well. It sold decently, but it could have sold a lot more.
Yeah, like I don't know. I mean, it could be Nintendo too, because I mean, the Nintendo's. I mean, at this point, known as the Nintendo console. It's not like it's really like you're not buying Wii U for Assassin's Creed. You're not buying the Wii U for Call of Duty.
You're buying the Wii U for Nintendo exclusive games.
But then, what does the future hold for Nintendo then? If it's just going to be the Nintendo console, then are they going to sell like a super cheap thing? Are they going to be the first ones to go PC? Like, because that's the thing. Because at this point, if you're just going to sell the games, and I mean, Nintendo's philosophy ever since the original owner, who used to run Nintendo, especially the original NES and everything during his reign, had said that you just make this hardware cheap, but at least make the software better so that it can move the hardware, and that's always been its philosophy. And so for the hardware to it's going to be crap, but if the software is good enough, it'll move it. A lot of the software isn't impressing people still. Even Smash Bros. Didn't even impress a lot of people.
I don't know. I think Nintendo has a lot of good software
I do, too.
out right now and coming out.
Oh, yeah, definitely this year. I mean, next year. Next year's...
2015 is looking pretty good.
Hell yeah. So now we're going to the handheld part where Nintendo 3DS, like, I thought it was... like, all the reports seemed like it was going well and going this and, going all the way right. All the good. But apparently not really.
Apparently not really?
Yeah, because someone from NeoGAF, and I want to give credit to this person because he had a whole thread about the software sales of the 3DS to date, which shows that it's not even selling well at all. It's just kind of sad because he based this on the numbers from the MPD, which is like the actual. Like their actual sales figures, like this is what everybody like uses in order for them to kind of like see, okay, this is what this game sold, this is what this console sold, whatever. And it shows that the 3DS it's doing pretty well, but it's not even close to where the PSP was. Like the PSP sold way more than the 3DS to this point from like beginning to end of 1 year, which was 2008, and it's not even close to the Nintendo DS.
The Nintendo DS was a good console.
It was. And that's the thing,
but it's like the same thing though. It's actually it's better than the DS. You know what? I think that people have fallen on hard times and they're just not buying into new stuff.
Well, it's not really that. It's probably hard times, but it's also the fact too that the phone is the new game console.
That's true too. The mobile gaming on your phone has turned into something a whole new monster.
Yeah, a lot of kids are just playing Minecraft now. Like that's their game. Like that's their go-to game right now. And it's not all about the buttons anymore. It's all about just swiping and pressing. That's really it.
That's true, but I still like my old school.
Yeah, but we're old school too.
That's true.
And it kind of sucks because I don't know if the kids of nowadays, are gonna even know what like games are. If they just maybe consider games to be just a swipe and press game versus a game that actually has story.
Ugh. Kids will never know true gaming.
kids these days, right?
Kids these days.
But it's weird because not only that, one of the best selling games of the year was on the Nintendo DS. Not even the regular DS. I mean, excuse me, not even on the 3DS, but on the DS. It's been shown that Frozen sold so much.
Frozen?
Yeah, and then not only that, it also hit me too that holy crap that they're still selling Nintendo DS games.
Yeah, really? I thought that they stopped that. I thought everything was coming out for 3DS now.
Yeah, no, I would have considered that too, but apparently not. And the thing is too, I mean, wherever I walk, sometimes I see kids, like once in the blue, I'll see a kid with a 3DS, but most of the time I'll see a lot of kids and even teenagers with just a DS, whether it be a DSi or whatnot. But a lot of them have a DS. Like I look at them and just go, yeah, that's not a 3DS. I was like, huh.
Oh, see, I see the opposite. I see a lot of people with the 3DS,
And not a lot with a 2DS. That's crazy.
actually, no, I've seen a lot of people with the 2DS.
I mean, with the
well,
3DS.
with the regular DS, I should say.
Oh, okay.
No, I see a lot more people with a 3DS compared to a DS,
Gotcha.
and it's that's why I'm surprised to hear about this whole not selling too well.
It's funny, actually. When I was at the Nintendo World for the Mario Kart tournament, I forget which one it was. It was really funny because someone was actually playing Mario Kart DS, and not even on their 3DS. He was actually playing it on the DS, and now I'm talking about the DS Lite. I'm not talking about the DS.
The old school.
He had that bulky ass DS, and it's like, wow,
Crazy.
okay, yeah. So I have no idea. I mean, hopefully with and then the other problem too is the fact that the damn console is expensive. It's $200 still.
Yeah, that's another thing too.
Yeah. And not only that, I mean, they're going to be releasing the new 3DS. The new 3DS is going to be like, what, like freaking the same price. So the regular 3DS is going to be like lowered. But then if you release the new 3DS, it's going to be the same price as the original 3DS that's out right now, the XL or the regular one, which is kind of like, okay, like what's the point of that? I mean, it's going to be outdated already. I just don't know. I mean, I felt like the 3DS when I got it was already outdated. It's really slow. And everything else, and I don't know if the new 3DS will breathe life into it. I don't know if the new 3DS is going to breathe its final hurrah until the next new handheld game.
I think it will. Apparently they increased the hardware inside of it.
Yeah,
so it's going to run better.
But it's going to be the same price as my 3DS is right now, the same price. And then
I
it's
don't
just
know, maybe there'll be some kind of deal, like if you trade in your old device, you can get half off or something. I don't know.
Yeah. But but the real saving grace for Nintendo, of course, even we talked about it in an article in our podcast, Pokemon is just selling ridiculous for no reason.
Pokemon is saving, man.
Yeah, so Pokemon's making Nintendo so much money. I mean, like ORAS has already sold like 7 million already. And I think the other Pokemon, I don't even know how many millions they sold, X and Y together.
X and Y sold quite a bit.
Yeah. So, and I mean, like that's their saving grace. But even if Game Freak wasn't making Pokemon games for Nintendo, I mean, who knows where Nintendo would be at this point?
Yeah, right. If Game Freak were selling for, I don't know, Xbox.
Oh God!
If Pokemon was an Xbox franchise or a Sony franchise instead of Nintendo would be in the dumps.
If it was on iOS or Android, if it was on everything, like it would just be making massive amounts of money, and then like it would be helping everybody. It'd be basically, I think Pokemon would be like Minecraft. It would be like that, except if they sold it. And it would make more money, especially now that it's an established brand. But since the creator of Pokemon has so much respect, he always wanted to work with Miyamoto, which is why he's still with Nintendo. And let's just say, like, if Miyamoto wasn't with Nintendo, what would happen then? Yeah. So, Pokemon is really the savior of Nintendo, and that's why it's one of their top-selling games. I mean, it's sold way more than Mario Kart 7 or even Smash Bros. At this point already.
Yeah.
So it goes to show what people are really interested in.
Pokemon, man.
Yeah.
Especially the fact that this was that ORAS was a remake of the original Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, and people loved those games.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the end of that. I mean, really, the next year is looking really bright for Nintendo.
It's looking pretty good.
I mean, there's pretty good games. Of course, that's the other thing too. Now Zelda's coming out next year.
Star Fox coming out next year.
Yes, and Splatoon's coming out next year. A lot of good games coming out next year. Now, if Zelda doesn't sell, then what's going to happen next? That's really the next story. That's the next question.
Don't name your console the Wii U. I think I'm not going to lie. I think naming it the Wii U did not do it any favors.
Yeah, I can. We've talked about that so many times. I've ranted about it where, I mean, I understand the difference between a Nintendo and a Super Nintendo. Guess what the difference is? Super, even if you look at it like that. The GameCube, I mean, this is why you either have a numerical like continuation of a console or a different name. I mean,
no one's gonna say, "Oh, the PS3 and the PS4, that's the same thing, right?" It's just like a different controller or something. That's what people were saying about the Wii and the Wii U.
Yes,
the Wii U is just you just get the gamepad, right? Then you can play it on the Wii. No, it's a whole different console.
Yeah,
people don't seem to realize that,
and people are still confused at it. And it's almost been in its second year out, people are still confused at what the hell the Wii U is. And I mean, and maybe that's what also prevented Microsoft. Microsoft's Xbox One might have not sold a lot because people are like, "Is that the first Xbox then, or what? Like, what's going on?"
I don't know.
Or it might have been the Kinect. It could have been the Kinect too.
I think the Kinect has something to do with it.
and the price.
But I don't know.
But it's advertising too, because I mean, Xbox One right now is so in your face. Like they're all about like they're advertising like crazy that you can't not recognize its name. Like the 360 old because this is the new one. That type of thing. And of course, the PlayStation 4 is new because it's 4. It's the fourth
Exactly.
one.
That's what I like about that. They went from PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. They're clearly going in a numerical order. You will not get confused on which is the latest version.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the thing too. Like if the Wii had a different name, and if Zelda is not successful, they have to advertise the hell out of Zelda, because if they're not gonna waste their time with Splatoon, and hopefully Splatoon could help them out too, because Splatoon looks like a really good game.
It looks like a fun game, but I think it's gonna get swept under the carpet. Honestly,
I think Star Fox is gonna get swept under the carpet more so. That's the thing that worries me about that too, which is why they're probably scared of making another Metroid, because they feel like that's gonna be swept under the rug too. Because in all honesty, I mean, look at it. Look at these games that they're hesitant on making, and they're really focusing more so on Zelda, and they're giving mention to the other games and really putting Splatoon out there more so.
but I think Star Fox has a good enough fan base that it will sell.
It never convinced them to make a Wii version of the game.
That's true.
That's not a good fan base to where they made like 3 shitty Star Fox games for the GameCube.
Well, that's why they were 3 shitty games. I mean, I played one of them. I played the dinosaur, Star Fox Adventure, the dinosaur one. It was
yeah.
I got halfway through that game and I was like, I cannot play this anymore. I think it deterred me so much that I didn't even bother with Assault.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, Nintendo next year should be good. It should be interesting, even though they really have their exclusives. I mean, they had Shovel Knight for a long time, and now it's going to be on PlayStation, and that's kind of unfortunate for them. But the guys at Shovel Knight and the creators of that probably realized, dude, we could probably make more money if we not on a Wii U. Like, hello. I mean, PC had a good sales too. Not like you can't deny that. Like PC sales, I mean, that's independent games. I mean, they sold pretty well. It's not like they sold like Stanley Parable where it hit like a lot of like a big sale, or anything else like that. But I mean, it did something. But I guess they want to get the audience broadened, and hopefully Nintendo can like. I mean, it's really just advertising and hoping that maybe they'll have something new to announce. Because E3, they have to kill it. Because that was the other thing too about this about Nintendo's year. They won E3 this year. Like last year, Sony won E3 so much that their consoles just flew off the shelves the moment it hit the shelves in November.
Basically.
And now when Nintendo won E3, everybody was like, oh my God. Like they basically overshadowed everything. And not only that, they also overshadowed the Game Awards too. I mean, there's other things that you could like take away too, but Nintendo really was a big star at the Game Awards, and they were the star of a lot of other things, and yet they have nothing to show for it. Like they got good sales, but it's not like they were PlayStation sales.
Yeah.
And that's hopefully like they need more advertising. That's what I would say. I could be, wrong. I'm only a broke gamer. They need more advertising, and they definitely have to play up these next games, because if Zelda will fail next year, then who knows what's going to happen. You can't have Zelda fail.
I think if 2015 does not go well, I think if Splatoon and Star Fox and Zelda, I think if they do not sell well, and Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker, which I would say if that hits I'd say if that hits 1.5 million, I'd be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I feel like if the next generation doesn't go too well, it's time to move on from the Wii U and go to something else. Make a new console. They should already be making a new console.
Well, yeah, they should. Well, I mean,
and don't name it the Wii UX, or just come up with something completely different. See what you're doing right now. 180. Go back that way.
I feel like they're gonna call it the Wii U Me too.
Wii U Me. We us.
We us.
Stop it. The Wii US.
Well, I just to conclude this, I really feel like they named it the Wii because they thought people would just buy it because it has the Wii name in it, and that wasn't the reason why people bought the console. The name was stupid to begin with. It was even stupider with the Wii U.
Yeah.
So,
I think I personally liked what was it, the Wii's production name, the Revolution?
Yes, the original Wii.
I think Nintendo Revolution would have been an awesome name for a console.
Mm-hmm.
And a GameCube was the Dolphin, which was kind of stupid. I like GameCube better than Dolphins.
I actually kind of like Dolphin. Dolphin was kind of interesting.
Yeah, but I don't know. It just sounded weird. The Nintendo Dolphin.
I don't have a grade, so you give it a grade.
I think for the year, Nintendo gets like a C plus B minus
Oh, okay. That's
because
pretty fair.
they did come out with like Smash and Mario Kart, and they had some pretty good sales. It's just that it didn't live up to expectation.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go with the B minus, where it's like, oh, it's good, but it's disappointing still.
So Microsoft. Microsoft had a very disappointing year too, but that's because it's two reasons: the Kinect and the price. I mean, the only reason why it was outshined by Sony was because Sony was $100 less, a little bit less powerful than Sony, even though they have about the same specs anyway. But it was a damn Kinect. It had to be.
I also think it had something to do with the way you can play games.
How so?
Oh, I don't know. If you want to share a game on the game sharing,
Yes.
if you want to share a game on PlayStation, just here, take my disc, borrow it. Whereas not Nintendo, Microsoft had this whole complicated system how you couldn't really share games.
Yeah, and then they let go of that really quick too. They backpedaled so hard after that.
But during E3, when that was first announced, it was like GameStop was almost threatening not to sell the Xbox One because you couldn't return games.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like of course they backpedaled on it. You can that's not the case now, but at first that everyone when I was I was watching E3, I was like, whoa, you can't return games, you can't share games on the Xbox One. Screw that. I'm going to PlayStation. Like and here I am. I'm a Nintendo fanboy, but as far as the other two consoles go, I preferred the Xbox, and so it made me want to switch over to the PlayStation for that one simple factor.
Yeah, I mean, I would pick Sony over the other one anyway for Microsoft. Anyway, I feel like they have the better product, and they have just about the better games. In all honesty, I mean, like, yeah, I'm gonna miss it on Halo, but I wasn't really a fan of Halo. Like, I would rather play like Last of Us. In all honesty,
I like Halo.
Yeah. Oh, I know you do. Yeah. But besides that too, Microsoft, once they dropped the Kinect, it was moving some consoles. Like, it made it $100 less. So it's the same price as the PS4. But then it was like, okay, so we're still not selling as much as we want to. I mean, they were last to the Wii U, and the Wii U was out for a long time, and they could barely catch up to either of them.
Yeah.
So when the Wii U passed like the Xbox One in sales, it was like, well, that sucks for Microsoft. What's going on with them? And as he said too, the Xbox portion of Microsoft is like not making a lot of money. It's only saved by the fact that there's like patent lawsuits that it won for Android, because I think the Xbox division is in the same division as like their mobile phones and whatnot, and I think they won a lawsuit from somebody, I forgot who it was, that they just owed like millions or billions of dollars in in money, like a year or some crap like that. So really, I mean, that money from that saved Xbox, and really, like, it's been years, ever since the first Xbox, they haven't made a profit off the Xbox, really. I mean, they kind of are, but they're not making a lot of money off of the console, to a point where it's been speculated that Xbox was either going to branch off as a division or shut down. And they're not going to branch off. They talked about that.
Yeah.
So to look at it that way, and then to see what they're doing now, I mean, they got to a point where they dropped the price. They were the first ones to do it after the Wii U. Like, Sony's PlayStation 4 has not even budged on its price.
It's been $400 the entire time.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, the Wii U dropped, I think, the first couple of months, and dropped it from, I think, what was it? I think it was like $350. It's now down to $300, and it's been like that way for a while. Even though like stores sell it for a lot less, depending on where you go. Microsoft went from $500 to $400 to $350 now. And the $350 started for the holiday season.
Well, $350 is temporary.
And that's the other thing, too. It's temporary. Like, why are you going to make it temporary? Because then that may hurt your sales in the beginning of next year.
Right, just keep it at $350 because guess what? It's moving your consoles.
Yes. And also, too,
for the whole year, as you mentioned, Microsoft was third place. You were behind the Wii U. It wasn't until like 2 weeks ago that it finally caught up and passed the Wii U. Mm-hmm. But guess what? Guess what it has to do with? Dropping your price $50 extra.
Yeah, and when you're cheaper than PlayStation, but more expensive than the Wii U, and you have like better graphics than the Wii U, and you have Halo, which would appease a lot of people. You also have Destiny, and you also have other games that the Xbox that people are familiar with from the previous version of the Xbox. Of course, people are going to jump onto that. But people, when they first saw the Sony PlayStation 4 and thought, and especially some of them may have been Xbox fans, and said, you know what, this might be a better choice for me, and went that way. I don't know if anyone regretted it. I don't know if anybody changed, or people were just like, no, Xbox all the way. But obviously something happened where there was like, where Sony's PlayStation's already up to like past 13 million, maybe even like 14, 15 million at this point.
We'll get to their numbers.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
But, it's just like, I think Xbox is at just over. It's like 7.5 million or something. I think it might be approaching 8.
Yeah, but here's the thing too about like Microsoft and that they also bought out Mojang, which is the people who make Minecraft, which you talked about in the Nintendo section, where Minecraft is like the big thing nowadays. But is it selling?
I think we talked about this when it happened. I thought that was a stupid move. Minecraft already kind of made its money. They made that because they not get to pay monthly to play Minecraft.
Yeah.
To play Minecraft, it's just like, all right, everyone who wants Minecraft pretty much has it already.
Yeah.
So unless they're making a Minecraft 2, which I don't see how it would be any different from the first Minecraft, because they keep patching the first Minecraft. They keep adding stuff to it. Yeah. So it's just like, I don't see where. I mean, I guess maybe the merchandising, because there's a lot of merchandising going on with it.
Yeah, that
between
might
shirts and like products. I guess that maybe is where they would make money off of. But like,
well, I mean,
I don't know. It's not. Is it too? Can you make $2 billion back? Because that's how much they bought it for.
Yeah, $2.5 billion. Like that was just wow.
I think that was a monumental screw up.
Well, that's the thing too. It's still to see because it's still always on every list and every top selling chart. It's always the top downloaded game. It's always the top selling game. I don't know if on consoles, but I know it's always on the charts. It always is. So there's always new people buying it all the time. So in all honesty, it's
but
like.
But my question is like, can you make up the $2.5 billion?
That I don't know. You have to depend on another game like Halo. Like, because Halo came out, and I also think Halo came out, funny enough, I think before the price drop happened. So, and I mean, that's what I think helped moved it too. Halo.
Yeah, the Master Chief Collection.
Yeah, even though there was
with 5 on the way.
Yeah, with 5 on the way as well. And I think a lot of people don't realize that, how glitched up and how bad it was.
Oh, no, people didn't realize at the time, but now they do.
Oh yeah, and
people are still complaining that the online doesn't work.
Yeah, and that's a problem. But then if people are still gonna continue to buy an Xbox and not get quality games, then what's the point of getting the Xbox?
I mean, it's just games in general are not quality games lately.
Yeah, that's
Assassin's
true too.
Creed is still buggy.
Yeah, that's
Destiny still has no content. It's just like, it's gotten to a point where it's like you're releasing games that aren't finished, that aren't ready to be games yet. And so you can sell them.
I mean, and that's a problem too. And now you have people downloading big patches, like Assassin's Creed's patch is like 7 gigs to fix the game. Like, why couldn't we do this in the first place? That's so dumb.
Yeah, I don't know.
So the strong sales and everything, like it took them a year to figure out maybe we should do this, and it got to a point where now Microsoft is now the second best-selling console, even just edging out the Wii U by only a couple of 100,000 consoles. But I mean, who knows where they are at this point? I mean, they have to release the numbers, or we have to get them from MPD, whatever the case may be. But I mean, at this point, I mean, they came back, but only towards the end of the year after Destiny came out and after Halo came out, and really, I mean, that's about in their price drop. That's really what helped Microsoft. What are they going to do next year? I don't know, but I mean, but the Xbox division or the Xbox portion itself might just expand further to other people in their living rooms, especially with the release of Windows 10.
Yeah.
Because the head of Xbox is already going to speak at the Windows 10 conference, and he's already prepared to talk about Xbox and crossplay. So if you're going to be able to play Xbox games on your Windows 10 PC, if they're thinking of doing that, or on their tablets or on your phones and whatnot, I mean, that's a whole different world. That's a whole different thing. If now they're actually covering all their bases, not only like this is all speculation though. We haven't got this confirmed yet.
Yeah.
But if Microsoft's already looking towards, because we talked about this in the show before too, they're looking towards streaming games, kind of like how PlayStation has that streaming service. They talked about streaming. They talked about like that. And if you're going to be moving to the handheld portion, which would cover the handheld gaming, if you have Xbox One quality game on your phone, that's insane. Especially streaming wise, whether it's streaming or not. I mean, that's still pretty damn impressive. Yeah. If you're going to be streaming it on your PC, which is also PC gaming, you're covering that realm too. Xbox may be the first one to do that and just be very adventurous about it, and hopefully they can be successful. And that maybe will save Xbox as a division and maybe as continuing in the gaming aspect. Whether that works out or not, I have no idea.
Well, we'll find out, I guess.
So what is your grade, Steve, on
let's
Xbox
see.
this year?
As far as exclusives go, you had Titanfall, You had the
I-
Master
you
Chief
know what?
Collection.
Who remembered Titanfall? I don't remember Titanfall.
Oh well, though,
The peop-
Titanfall didn't it come out last
It's
year? Technically?
everywhere. It's everywhere. Though I thought it was not Xbox. I thought it was every console.
Well, it started out on it sold better on Microsoft.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Mm.
But anyway, and
Titanfall came out earlier this year.
it came out earlier this year. I thought so. I don't know. The exclusives weren't anything to really, really punch you in the face.
Mm-hmm.
They screwed up really early with the whole Kinect thing, but they redeemed it by lowering it. But they're screwing up again by making this just temporary. But yet again, they're in second place right now. But I would go with a solid B.
I think that's kind of fair.
Actually, you know what? No. I would go with a B minus for them too, because they also did promise their whole Microsoft Entertainment System and their whole Microsoft TV channel that's not going to happen and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, they did lose a lot of stuff. Oh, and I stand corrected. Xbox exclusive Titanfall.
I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, I thought so.
and it just everybody seemed to forgot the game, because remember when everyone
once
was just all
Destiny,
over it.
Everyone was all over Titanfall.
Now
And
everybody's all
Destiny
over
came out
Destiny,
and everybody's
yeah.
like, Titanfall, what?
Yeah.
So I mean, but I did like how they connected Xboxes, the ones with Twitch, so you were
Yeah.
able to stream off your Xbox directly. That was
Mhm.
pretty cool. So I would go with, I'm gonna go back up to that just solid B.
Gotcha.
Now, it's just like B is a good grade. It's a good grade, but there's room for improvement.
Yeah, they lost a lot. They took a lot. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Going on to Sony. I mean, come on now. They already were just they were
Sony,
good.
Sony, we didn't even need to talk about Sony.
Yeah.
Sony's blowing everyone else out the water.
And really, it didn't have a lot. It had a lot of ports. It had basically all the other games that every other console had: Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, Destiny. But here's the thing with Destiny: Destiny is much better and way more advertised for a reason on PlayStation. Like, you don't see a lot of Destiny ads for the Xbox.
No, I see them all for PlayStation.
Yeah, which makes you think that it's a PlayStation exclusive if you're not wise to what's going on in the world of gaming. So, but I mean, besides that, I mean, they had their exclusive. They had Last of Us HD Remix again.
Yeah, the Last of Us remastered for the fourth time in 2 years.
I like the HD Remix title better, damn it.
HD Remix.
Yeah, and I mean, really, I mean, they have a lot of PC games coming out. I mean, to a point where look at it next year for Street Fighter, they're gonna have a game that's gonna be cross-platform play, that you could play PC, like a PC gamer can play with someone who's playing on a PlayStation 4, and that's incredible. And that's going ahead. But look at it now; it was just so successful. You can't really knock it for anything. It didn't have a lot, but even with the games it did, it sold well.
Sony killed it.
Yeah.
Sony is absolutely destroying the market right now.
Yeah, and I mean it's thankful to a point, because only a handful of divisions are actually losing money now. The PlayStation was losing money for a long time, especially the 3. The 3 is basically what the Xbox One is now, because the 3 did not sell at all, especially for the price that they had it for. I mean, because that was the thing with Sony, especially from a PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3. They were always super expensive when they first came out. Like the PlayStation 1, I remember it coming out with the same time as like the Jaguar, the Jaguar, 64 or some crap like that. I forgot what the hell it's called already.
I don't know.
Or maybe it's just called the Jaguar. The 3DO and the Sega Saturn or Sega, whatnot. When those came out, it was like all of those were like doomed to fail. And it looked like Sony was going to be a part of that. But then something different happened with Sony. Yeah, something different happened with Sony.
There were some good games on the PlayStation.
And that's what it was. They got some good games. They had Resident Evil, and then it turned into Final Fantasy. And that's when, and especially when they started lowering the price a couple of years into it, once Final Fantasy VII came out, it was like, that was it.
And then you had the Crash Bandicoot games.
Yes.
And then you had, I'm trying to think, like the Spyro was on there too. Like you
the Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal, Jack and Daxter. You had some good games that came out for PlayStation.
And that sold it, and it solidified it to where it is now. Because look at where all these consoles are now.
Well, look at when PlayStation 2 came out. It blew up. It was impossible to find one for like almost a year.
And that's because of what the Pleystation 1 did.
Right.
Towards the end of its lifetime.
And then PlayStation 3 came out, and people were like,
So $599. Wait, what? Wait, how much for the PlayStation 3 day
PlayStation
one?
3, but the gap between PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4, it's a monumental gap. I feel like the PlayStation 3 was the worst console Sony put out.
I liked it.
As far as like how
selling
it's
wise?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. It didn't start turning a profit towards the end of its lifetime, and then it didn't start becoming the top selling console until the end of its lifetime. Because the Xbox 360 dominated after the Wii U stopped dominating.
The 360 dominated generation. We'll call it generation 3.
Yeah, what was the Wii to start? But then once the
Well, remember the Wii came out first,
yeah.
so it's like the Wii. Nintendo always has a head start because they always release
the
early.
360 came out first. But
Did
the
it?
Wii, yeah, remember it didn't come out like 2005. The Wii came out 2006.
Oh, I thought it was the other way.
Yeah, the Wii and the PS3 came out the same year.
Ah.
Yeah, the Xbox
I
360
swear, I
came
thought-
first.
Oh, I thought that it was the other way around.
Yeah, now I could look it up.
Whatever. I'll take your word for it. You don't have to.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I don't know. Xbox dominated Generation 3. The Wii, I guess the Wii and the Xbox, you'd say they were neck and neck. But I still think Xbox was ahead.
Well, no, the Wii is like super dominated over everything to a point where it looked like it was impossible for the other two to catch up. And then once it died down, everybody was going for a 360.
Yeah.
But then the PlayStation 3 was just bottom forever. And then it took, I think, the last couple of years for it to just go to second. And then it got to first. And then it became the top selling one for just, for a little while.
I just felt like the PlayStation 3 was behind the. I still feel like.
And that's what's losing its money. But then when the PlayStation 4 came out, it just blew up.
Right. PlayStation 4.
Crazy.
PlayStation 4 has been the leader wire to wire.
Mm-hmm.
It's been no contest. PlayStation 4, good for you. The only downside to the PlayStation 4 is that their network keeps getting hacked.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. The negative part of it, I mean, it's not like they had the big hack on the PlayStation 3, and it constantly gets hacked on PlayStation 4, even DDoS to a point where you can't play certain games online at a certain point, but it also happens on the Xbox One too, and it's highly unfortunate. That's the other thing. It's almost like the year of hacks with both of the big name consoles, and nobody cared about the Wii.
Oh yeah, because what's worth hacking? Like you're gonna disrupt 7 people if you hack the Wii U.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Oh no, all 7 people can't play their Smash Brothers. And the 7 and the 4 people playing Mario Kart can't play that. Damn it.
Darn it.
Darn. But no, in all seriousness,
but we have nothing but praise for the PlayStation. I mean, it didn't really like get something major except for just have some pretty damn good exclusives, but it really shared a lot of its fame with the Xbox One. It kind of was just interchangeable, really. But
except that it sold better.
Yeah, it sold better too, and it had a slightly better thing. and that was the thing too. Comparing the E3, we talked about Nintendo's E3. We didn't talk about Xbox's E3, but looking at the E3 from the PlayStation's, Sony's ones, and the other one from the Microsoft, they were both interchangeable. Like there were nothing really amazing from either of them.
Yeah.
So
it was like if you wanted you watched E3. I mean, they didn't really. Yeah, I'm thinking about E3 2 years ago is when you watched it for what they brought. But this year's E3, they really didn't bring anything to the table.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like if you wanted to know what games were gonna have on it, you watched Ubisoft and EA and stuff.
Yeah, basically. But now, that's the thing. Now, the future of PlayStation is going to be streaming. The Vita, which is not selling well in the US and Europe, but it's selling very well in Japan. It's starting to outsell the 3DS, actually, at this point.
Interesting.
And that's the thing, too. It's all about JRPGs with the Vita. Where's it going to go now?
We'd yet to see.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I that sounds so stupid to say that, but we'll find out where it goes. You know? I feel like the Vita is just behind. Even though it's probably better than the Nintendo 3DS specs-wise and graphics-wise and whatnot. Better. It's probably better than the 3DS.
Way better.
It's just not. It's not. I mean, it'll never catch up to the DS, I'll say that.
Yeah.
Never.
Now the grade for the Sony?
Sony, I wanted to give them an A+ just because how well they sold, but the hacking and just... But some of their problems aren't even their fault, because a lot of people bought Assassin's Creed, and that's not Sony's fault that game sucked.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know, the fact that their network is still vulnerable and you've been attacked so many times and you still can't figure this out. I'll give them an A, just a solid A, just because they're just been ahead of the game far and away.
Yeah, I see that as fair. As far as PCs had a regular PC year, I guess you could say. It did its own thing.
It's so hard to grade the PC because of just everything that's going on, because there's so much different stuff going on.
It's always getting an A, no matter what.
It gets an A+. I mean, that's also just me being biased and PC Master Race and all that stuff. But the PC has really just changed everything.
Yeah, and especially the fact that, like I said, I feel like the future of gaming is going to go to PC, and if it doesn't go to PC, it'd be PC versus VR, in all honesty. And I feel like VR, especially with some of the, the advancements that VR is going to have, virtual reality. I mean, the Oculus already, bought out like 2 companies that have like motion censoring, like one that had motion sensor for that basically worked on the Kinect. Now, if you have virtual reality and you have the Kinect at the same time, that's insane.
That would be pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. So, and if you have that in your arsenal, that means the future of VR should be really good if it works out too.
Yeah.
But as far as that, and I mean, I feel like, and as far as that, as far as the PC's just been PC, like we said. Steam's actually the one that's actually trying to introduce people to home PCs. That's the other thing too. And
the Steam machines and all that stuff.
The Steam machines, I mean, the problem with the Steam machines is they were supposed to come out this year, and it hasn't. And they're coming out with one next year. Alienware actually already released somewhat of a home console PC where it can be Steam OS, but it's also just whatever you can do.
The other problem with the Steam machines is that they're going to be inconsistent. You know, you're going to have a Steam machine made by Alienware that's going to be $4,000, and it's going to be, the ridiculous stuff. And you're going to have a Steam machine made by Dell that's going to be, $7, and it's going to run like crap.
Yeah.
So, and basically what the Steam machine is just a computer that has a different iOS. It's not Windows, and it's not Apple. It's going to be Steam's own operating system when it comes out.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I mean, I know what you're saying with the prices, but I think the cheapest Steam machine is not even $500.
No,
like,
I was joking.
No, I know. I know, it's great, but, I mean, and then if you get a real good quality one, it's like, how much again?
Yeah, well, that's just it. If you're buying a PlayStation or an Xbox, you're getting the same thing as the guy next to you.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're buying a Steam machine, it's like, well, how much do you want to spend? Depends on how well it's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically what a computer is.
Yeah,
there's $4,000 computers and there's $100 computers.
Yeah, because I mean, like the even like the Alienware one, there's one that's like $500 that's right now.
Yeah.
Another one that's like $550. Going around like $500, $550.
But I also saw some of those Steam machines up at $5,000.
Yeah, I know. And that's the thing too. And if that can work out, and especially the fact that too, look at the games you can get for super cheap, especially from Steam. And if it's a Steam focus, it also introduces people to PC gaming that because it's turning to it, and people need this entrance into gaming. So I mean, a lot of people's entrance to gaming when they were younger was from Nintendo. If it wasn't Nintendo, it was Sega. And a lot of people's entrance into gaming might have been Sony, and at this point it might have been Xbox. So let's say if everybody's still afraid of PC gaming and don't realize the benefits of it, and then Steam really needs to do this. I mean, they don't have to, because PC gaming's popular. It always has its audience. It will have its audience always. But they don't really have to do this. But if they do this, they open up the doors to a wider audience. And I think you're missing out on a lot of sales if you don't do this.
No doubt.
Which is why I feel like that's why I think they're being very careful too. I'm waiting to see if prices can reduce, which is why I think they're delaying Steam machines and everything. Because people who still have those Steam machines in beta weren't really impressed, or some of them kind of were like, but they still need to try different things in order for it to profit. Because if they release it and become a bust, that would be horrible.
Yeah,
they don't want to be the next the next Ouija. I don't know what the hell that little cube system was. You remember that thing that was basically the size of a Rubik's cube? It played Android. It was an Android OS thing, and you played games off it.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, the Ojwa. I think that's what it's called.
I don't know what you're talking about. I mean,
wasn't paying
attention.
And that's how bad it was.
That's how bad it was that I have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
But on top of all that stuff, on top of the, like I said, Steam is great. Steam is fun. But you also have League of Legends that is continuing to thrive.
Yes, esports.
Esports, right. And then you have the Warcraft, Warlords of Draenor just came out, and it balanced the game back out, because people were complaining that Cataclysm and Mists of Pandaria kind of just threw the game under the bus and just ruined it, whereas Draenor just fixed everything. I believe it because I've kind of been playing it. It did balance some stuff out, so it's looking really good. And like I said, you mentioned esports. Esports is growing to a ridiculous level because of League of Legends, and that which brings attention to the Counter-Strike scene, which brings attention to the Dota scene, which brings attention to even the fighting game scene on consoles. So in a weird way,
it brings a light to modding too, and that's another thing too, with Half-Life and modding and other games that like people might have missed out on that they never even played before.
Yeah.
Like, what is this game I've never? Well, I think Half-Life's been on console, but still, like, what are these other games that I've never heard of? What is this game?
Right. So it's like PC lets you do so much, and that's why it is truly the master race and the future. So everyone can sit here and be like, oh, the consoles are the best, but they're not. They're really not.
They've been for a very long time, because PCs weren't affordable. Because I remember people even nowadays talking about how they had PCs back in the days and they're playing games like, Monkey Island and everything else. It's like, I never played that game because I had Nintendo, And even though the graphics were way behind Nintendo, but it was, affordable, especially for like certain people that couldn't afford, that was everybody's thing. Everybody had like a Nintendo console or Sega console. They had a console, a home console. They didn't have a PC. Like, and PC gaming for me when I first got introduced to gaming was solitaire. It was solitaire, ski free. Like,
oh god, ski free.
What else is it? Damn it, Oregon Trail, because even I've played that. Math Muncher, if you had to play that at school, if you ever remember that game.
Yeah.
And that was really it. I didn't know there was like Doom was from PC. I thought it was arcade and SNES, and that was it. And Jaguar. But and I didn't know that started on PC. I didn't know Wolfenstein was on PC. I knew that.
I just think investing in a PC, you might have to, you could probably get a PC, a decent PC for around $500, which is what you'd be paying for the original price of the Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
I think $400 might be a little cheap for a PC paying for gaming specs and whatnot, but like $600 to $800, well, you're paying a little bit more. You're investing in a quality machine that does more than just gaming.
Mm-hmm.
That's your internet. That's your PC. It's all kinds of different stuff.
Well, that's the thing too. I mean, a lot of these consoles are emulating PC anyway. You can go on the internet with it now, and you can multitask. You can do this, that. You can do that on PC too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's with the future PC, I mean, it's still gonna be PC. Hopefully, it'll make its way home. And maybe the other consoles are going to be joining it. Because if PlayStation's kind of making the move towards PC, kind of cross-play PC games, and if Xbox is already trying to stream their Xbox content on a PC and other things too. I mean, obviously they're not stupid. They're seeing that the future's not in consoles.
Yeah, no, clearly.
And
that's why Xbox One and Sony have gone more towards calling themselves the entertainment systems.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Nintendo, I feel like they went away from that.
Nintendo had an entertainment system.
Yeah, Nintendo had the NES. The Nintendo Entertainment System was called the Entertainment System.
But that's because they played games.
Right.
Yeah. But everybody wants the all-in-one now. Nobody just wants one thing for one thing anymore. No, like nobody's carrying around a cell phone and an MP3 player anymore. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's carrying not only that, they're not carrying a cell phone, an iPod, or an MP3 player, or a book with them. That's all their phone now. And I mean, that's an all-in-one thing. It's easy access.
The iPhone. I have an iPhone. That's my phone. I can look it up. My grandma's always like, when she's like, I have a question. I'm like, oh, just ask me. I have to look it up on my phone. She's like, how it knows it can do that? I'm like, it can do anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, this right here, it's my phone. If it's the size of my hand, it can do a lot of stuff.
And it's crazy to think that, and it's crazy just because if it's going to go into gaming like that with the other consoles, I mean, where's Nintendo going to be left at?
Nintendo's got to catch up.
If not, then they're just going to be the only one making consoles for like cheap.
Yeah, I guess so.
Either that or it's going to be free to play Nintendo. Here, buy a console for $300, but you get Mario for free. I
guess so.
Free to play Mario.
I don't know, man, but it looks like Nintendo. Oh, not Nintendo. It looks like Sony and Microsoft are going in the right direction, whereas becoming the all-in-one thing. Whereas Nintendo, it looks like they got some work to do.
Mm-hmm. So that's our year in review.
That is the year in review, guys.
2014. We'll see you all next year with that. Let's see how 2015 brings for us, the show itself, and gaming.
I'm looking forward to 2015.